In the beginning of the movie, we see a man named Hiro. The hero is shown as someone who loves adventure and wants to go to the middle of the sea to fish. He sets out on a small boat, feeling a strange peace as he ventures into the sea. He enjoys the tranquility and beauty of the surroundings. Slowly, he reaches the middle of the sea, but suddenly, a dense fog surrounds him. Seeing this, the hero feels a little shaken. He moves forward calmly, embracing the fog, and starts fishing. The boat drifts with the wind. After some time, the hero lies down to relax, but suddenly, the boat collides with something and stops. When he checks, he sees a white luxury boat in the fog. Surprised, he observes that the boat is adrift in the sea. Its engine is off, and it has no sail or mast. The top of the boat is open, and no one is visible on board. The hero calls out several times, asking if anyone is there, but receives no response. He ties his small boat securely to the larger one to prevent it from drifting away. Once on board, he goes below deck and finds a luxurious cabin where the bed appears as if someone recently got up from it. He checks the bathroom, but no one is there. Then his eyes fall on a radio. He tries contacting multiple frequencies and explains that there's an unmanned boat adrift in the sea, requesting any available information. However, he gets no response. Frustrated, the hero heads back to the deck, only to discover that his small boat, which he had tied to the larger one, is missing. Panicked, he wonders where the boat could have gone. He searches everywhere with binoculars, but the boat is nowhere to be seen. Trying to calm himself, the hero thinks, "Why should I be scared? Instead of a small boat, I now have this big one. If I can just start its engine, I'll make it to shore." He attempts to start the engine, but it doesn't work. Next, he checks the compass, only to find it broken. Frantically, he pulls out a map and tries to determine his location. As the fog clears, he realizes he is lost in the vast sea, with no shore visible in any direction. Suddenly, he hears the sound of someone running below deck. Slowly, he descends to investigate. As he looks around, the bathroom door slams shut. He opens the door, but no one is there. Convinced that his fear is causing him to imagine things, he tries to calm his mind. He decides to sail the boat using the mast and sets the sail in the right direction. Relieved that he has found a solution, the hero watches as the boat begins to move quickly. However, his relief is short-lived when he realizes that the boat is going in circles instead of moving with the wind. Frustrated, he works on the engine again and finally gets it running. Smiling with confidence, he says to himself, "Now, let's see how this boat misleads me." He steers the boat, but after a long time, the shore is still nowhere to be seen. The hero realizes he has no idea where the boat is heading, and the communication device remains useless. Exhausted, he goes up to the deck to relieve himself, but the boat's sail suddenly swings and hits him from behind. The hero loses his balance and nearly falls into the sea. Fortunately, he grabs onto a rod and pulls himself back on board. Confused and frightened, shaken, he goes to the bathroom to finish relieving himself. When he tries to leave, he finds the door locked. The bathroom is small, and he starts to panic, unable to stay there for long. He tries desperately to open the door but fails. Spotting a small cupboard, he finds a pair of scissors inside. However, there are bloodstains on the cupboard, which frighten him. Despite his fear, the hero uses the scissors to unscrew the lock, but the door still doesn't open. Furious and scared, he hears a loud noise outside. Looking through a small porthole, he sees a massive cargo ship heading straight for his boat at high speed. Desperate, the hero starts banging on the bathroom door, trying to escape. He signals the ship with a cloth from a small gap in the bathroom, but it is of no use. He sits quietly, thinking, and realizes that it's not necessary to contact the ship. Right now, he needs to move his boat out of the way of the ship. He raises his hand, takes out a rope, ties a knot, and slowly sends it towards the boat's propeller. His plan is to jam the propeller with the rope, stopping the boat from advancing into the ship's path. His idea works and the boat stops. Just then, in doing so, the rope accidentally entangles around his neck. Struggling to breathe, he is moments away from suffocating when he reaches into the small gap and grabs a hook. Using the hook, he manages to untangle the rope from his neck, narrowly escaping death. He takes a deep breath, relieved. Through the gap, he watches as the cargo ship passes by, grazing a small portion of the boat. Thankfully, there is no major damage and the hero survives. Exhausted and fed up with the challenges on this boat, the collision with the cargo ship has caused slight damage to the boat and water is leaking inside. Suddenly, the hero wakes up and realizes that the boat is moving again, despite the propeller being disabled. He notices that the sail is still open, which allows the boat to be driven by the wind. The hero uses the hook to pull the sail's rope, managing to close it and stop the boat. It becomes increasingly difficult for him to sit curled up in the small bathroom, and on top of that, he is extremely thirsty. Desperate, He drinks a few drops of water from the bathroom wash gun. Just then, another problem arises. He hears sounds as if someone is cutting a rope above. Suspicious, he pulls the rope he had tied to the propeller and discovers that it has been cut. Not only that, but the sail's rope has also been severed, leaving the boat adrift once more. Disheartened, he sits down, only to notice water seeping in from outside. Assuming it's seawater from the ship's damage, he tastes it out of desperation. To his surprise, it's fresh drinking water. Angry, the hero yells, "I know someone is here. Some psycho is playing games with me." Moments later, the water flows again, and this time the hero drinks it gratefully. However, it turns out to be salty seawater. Fear creeps in as he realizes the water entering the boat is now rising rapidly. Determined not to give up, the hero starts scooping the water out with a small glass. As night falls, a dangerous storm rises over the sea. Strong winds batter the boat, which begins filling with water. The open sail thrashes violently, and the boat shakes uncontrollably. Amid the chaos, the hero sustains injuries, but remains resilient. Amidst the storm, the hero closes his eyes and formulates a plan. Using a shaving blade from the bathroom, he reaches through the gap and begins cutting the sail's rope. After hours of relentless effort, he finally succeeds in cutting the rope. The sail collapses, reducing the boat's instability. By morning, the storm subsides, but the boat is now filled with water, which has risen to the hero's neck. The salty water causes burning and pain, but he doesn't lose hope. He begins kicking at the bathroom door. Suddenly, he hears the sound of the latch unlocking. Using all his remaining strength, after several attempts, the hero manages to force the door open and escape. Realizing that the heavily damaged boat is about to sink, he quickly removes the broken bathroom door and uses it to construct a makeshift raft with other available materials. Uncertain how far the coast is, the hero sets off into the vast sea on his improvised raft, leaving the haunted boat behind. So, after going some distance, he looks back at the whiteboard and notices that it is not sinking, even after being filled with water. The hero decides that instead of venturing far into the sea on this small boat, it would be better to return to the big boat and try to fix it. Only then will he be able to reach the shore. He reflects, "Due to my fear, I was imagining all sorts of things in that boat. Maybe I was hearing voices. But if this big boat hadn't been there during last night's storm, I would hardly have survived. Yes, I was foolishly leaving on this tiny piece of wood, not knowing where it would take me." With this clarity, he climbs back onto the whiteboard and starts repairing its small damages himself. Without fear, he searches the boat thoroughly and finds a battery and a motor. He connects them and uses the motor to pump out all the water from the boat. Afterward, he attempts to send a message using the communication devices but fails. Realizing that the only way to reach his destination is to restart the boat, he climbs up to tie the sail again. From that vantage point, he spots a cruise ship in the distance. Filled with hope, he takes his small makeshift boat and starts rowing toward the cruise ship. However, as he crosses halfway, the cruise ship begins to leave. Cursing his bad luck, he attempts to fire his flare gun but finds it has become useless after being soaked in water. Suddenly, the whiteboard reveals its true form. Even though the engine isn't working and the sail is closed, the boat begins moving on its own, heading straight toward the hero. At the last moment, the hero notices it and jumps into the water. The whiteboard appears intent on not letting the hero escape, circling him ominously. However, the hero vows, "Even if I die drowning in this water, I will never climb onto that whiteboard or any other whiteboard in my life." As he swims in the freezing water, two large shapes brush against his body. Terrified, he thinks they might be sharks, but they turn out to be dolphins. Relieved, he starts playing with them. Suddenly, the dolphins flee as if scared by something big. It's not a predator, but the whiteboard. The dangerous boat approaches the hero as if calling him back. The freezing water leaves the hero with no other choice. Despite his fear, he climbs back onto the boat. The next morning, when he wakes up, he tries to open the cabin door, but what he fears the most happens. The cabin door is locked. Resigned to his fate, he goes to the bathroom, whose door he had broken earlier, and notices a secret door. He manages to open it, discovering a hidden space designed for a person to live. Inside, he finds clothes, ropes, a knife, and food. The hero's mind races. So, is there really a psycho living here? Is this person making me dance like a puppet? As he gathers some of the food, the door to this secret room locks too. Meanwhile, the boat picks up speed, heading somewhere unknown. The hero bangs on the glass window and realizes the boat has reached the shore. Frustrated, he shouts, "Please stop this torture and let me go." What happens next shocks not only the hero but also us. The whiteboard stops right at the shore, and all the doors on the boat unlock automatically. The hero steps out of the secret room and inspects the entire boat, convinced that someone is hiding and tormenting him. However, there is no one on board. Filled with anger and fear, the hero looks for the person who has been playing these deadly games, but to his surprise, the whiteboard begins moving again. It turns perfectly and starts heading back toward the sea, as if being driven by an unseen force. At that moment, the small boat the hero had initially made and abandoned in the sea also reappears. This confirms his suspicion. There was no psycho on the whiteboard. Instead, the boat itself seems to be the psycho, a malevolent entity playing a deadly game with him. As the hero watches in disbelief, a cave appears in the middle of the water. Inside the cave is a gap, and on the other side, the whiteboard is standing still, as if waiting for the hero. It ends here. Now you might ask, friends, what is this? How did the boat become psycho? If it was playing the game of death, then why did it leave the hero alive on the shore? You may have these questions, but there isn't always a reason for everything. Talking about reasons can sometimes be useless. While there is a reason for everything, it's not always necessary that the reason we come up with is the actual one. Perhaps there was a problem with this boat, and whatever happened to the hero was purely coincidental. Or maybe this is a highly intelligent boat designed solely for dangerous games. Another possibility is that the boat is possessed by the soul of a psycho, who tortures their victims so relentlessly that they ultimately succumb. For instance, the bloodstains on the bathroom cupboard suggest that someone might have been trapped on that boat before the hero. Perhaps that person didn't fight back like the hero and fell victim to the psycho's soul. However, the hero's unwavering determination and refusal to give up in any situation might have impressed the boat. Despite the torment, the boat couldn't harm him in the end, and so it left him alive. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.